Okay, well, this is the review for the test for that's October, review day 7th and 8th. The test will be on the 9th and 10th, and we want to find the exact trigonomic answers. And instead of using the unit circle, we're going to be using the chart. And the first thing we're going to look at there is look at that first problem. It says cosine what? 240 degrees. So what we want to do is find the alpha angle for 240. And remember this, the alpha angle will be, if it's less than, if it goes more than 90, you ask yourself this, is it closer to 180 or is it closer to 360? That's going to be your question. So is 240 closer to 180 or closer to 360?
180.
180? Closer to 180.
You said 180.
180. So therefore, how far is 240 from 180?
60.
60 degrees, right? So if it is 60 degrees from there, then what you're going to want to do is this. Look up here and find what? 60 degrees. And what is cosine?
1/2.
1/2. Now the question is, what quadrant is cosine in 240 in? It's in quadrant what?
3.
3. And cosine is what?
Negative.
Negative. So your answer will just simply be what? Negative what?
1/2.
Negative 1/2. Okay? So, let's do sine of 135 degrees. Sine of 135 degrees. Well, is it closer to 180 or 360?
180.
How far from 180? 45 degrees. So go back to the chart. Sine of 45 degrees is what? Square root of 2 over 2. And 135 degrees is in what quadrant? 2. And what is sine in quadrant 2?
Positive.
So the answer is positive what? Square root of 2 over 2. Get the hang of this. So tangent. Now here we have negative 30. That's really easy.
30.
Because it's just 30 degrees. Because it's not larger than 90, right? Even or negative 90. So go back to my little chart. Tangent at what? 30 degrees is what? Square root of 3 over 3. The question is now where is negative 30? It's not quadrant 1, but quadrant what? 4. And in quadrant 4, sine is?
Negative.
Because the y is negative. So my answer is then what? Negative square root of 3 over 3. Yes, tangent. Yes. That was tangent. Let me move a look. So, from the chart, if you go back to the chart, your question, see, 30 degrees, tangent, negative, that one right there, kind of got to highlight a little bit. All right? So, let's go back to this one right here. So, where's cosine of 150? Is it closer to 180 or 360?
180.
How far from 180?
30 degrees.
30 degrees. So now I'm going to go look at cosine of 30 degrees, which is what? Square root of 3 over 2. And cosine 100, so what? 150 degrees is in what quadrant?
2.
2. And cosine is what? Negative. So I have negative what? Square root of 3 over 2. So cosine would be negative square root of 3 over 2. Right? Click on the little chart there, move it up. Sine of 120. Is it closer to 180 or 360? 180. So therefore, what's the alpha angle for 120? 120 is how far from 180?
60.
60. So what's sine of 60? Square root of 3 over 2. And it's in, and where is 120? Quadrant of 2?
2.
So sine's positive, so it's what? Positive what? Square root of 3 over 2. Positive square root of 3 over 2. Trying to get where I can move that little thing down. There we go. What about now tangent of 240? Is 240 closer to 180 or 360? 180. How far is 240 from 180?
60 degrees.
60 degrees. So tangent at 60 degrees is what? Square root of 3, except in quadrant, 240 is in quadrant 3. So what is tangent in quadrant 3? It says what? Positive, because the y and x are both negative. Remember, tangent is y divided by x, so it's just positive square root of 3. Because a negative divided by a negative is positive. Right? So we have positive square root of 3. Now we have what? Cosine of negative what?
225.
225, right? Correct? Well, first off, I'd ask myself this. Ignore the negative for a second. Is 225 closer to 180 or 360?
180.
How far is 225 from 180?
45.
So I'm looking at an alpha angle of 45. It was cosine, correct?
Yes.
Cosine of 45 is what? Square root of 2 over...
2.
Now the question is, what quadrant is negative 225 in? No, you got to think about it. It's going to be in quadrant 2 because you're going backwards
Oh, okay.
past the 180 mark, right? But not quite the 270, so it's in quadrant 2. And what is cosine in quadrant 2?
Negative.
So you'll have what? Negative what? Square root of 2 over...
2.
Negative square root of 2 over 2. What about sine of 210? Is it closer to 180 or 360?
180.
180, how far is it from 180?
30 degrees.
30 degrees, so I'm going to go over here, look at sine of 30. Although we should think of Sheldon Cooper when we hear sine of 30, right?
Yeah.
Exactly 1/2 from that little video. But okay, 210 is in what quadrant?
Those
3.
stress.
And what is it sine in quadrant 3 we're doing?
Negative.
Yeah, sine in quadrant 3 is what?
Negative.
Negative, so I have negative